Whoa. Yeah, so some of them got a bit too big. I'm Terry Banyard, and this is a Notch 6-pack. The 6-pack is just a new kind of take on a lowering device. When I first made it, I literally had 6 cans of empty beer and put them on the bench here. Drew round them all and then kind of just fed the rope round and kind of like looking at it going, is that going to work? Is that going to make friction? And kind of having those 6 cans of beer there, I was like, I started calling it the 6-pack. Back in, I guess, 2012, 2013, kind of wanted to build a device that was kind of like pretty slim profile, didn't stick out from the tree very much. But also the main problem I wanted to solve was it didn't coil the rope. Your conventional device, if you've got a porter wrap, when you wrap rope around a bollard, that can cause then twists and hockles in the rope. That can be a real pain. If you start to rig and those hockles come into the groundsman's hand, it can drag you into the tree as well. If they go through the guy's hand and end up in the bollard, it can just jam it all up. It can be a safety issue as well as just having to walk the rope out several times a day, untwist all the hockles. That was the main issue I wanted to solve. So when it comes to the 6-pack, by making various different paths, we're not actually getting a whole rotation around each individual bollard. That's going to eliminate the rope twisting further down the line. I also wanted to make this device fixed to the tree with the ratchet strap. Some of the devices, like the porter wraps and things that go around the tree, just flopping around all the time, it kind of hard to get the tension on it sometimes. When it's kind of all strapped to a tree, you can get it nice and tight. You just kind of know what you're doing because it's going to be the same every time when it's actually mounted to the tree. I think it's a lot more predictable with this type of device, yeah. I started off with some basic sketches when I was looking at kind of building a rigging device. Didn't have access to a CAD, I'm not very good with that kind of thing, so I find for myself just kind of getting a physical product there just works really well. I pretty much just came in here and just started welding bits together. Just playing around with the different spacings between all the bollards, the different configurations, how they were set. They're going to be all in line, or they're going to be staggered, different ways to work. Go out and try it, do a few tests, see how it works. There's probably been around about maybe 10, 12 different prototypes I've made, different configurations. Some of them have then been modified again by cutting fair leads off, cutting pipes off, moving things. So it's been a fair bit of action in the workshop. One of these first prototypes I made is kind of this device. I was looking into different ways to reduce friction with different ropes and things and devices. Not long after I made this, the safe block come out. So it was kind of like, oh, hang on, maybe I've made something that's already been made. This one was, I think it's 2012, 2013. Yeah, this was great, but I couldn't get the rope on and off quick. I need to change the friction a bit more frequently. Came up with this device, took it out on a test, done the job perfectly, we rigged down the whole tree with it, and that was the moment I thought, this is going to work, After that, it kind of moved to a bigger version of this. At one point I was thinking that maybe the bollards needed to be bigger, more friction on each one, but kind of everything was just getting way too big. Definitely went into looking at smaller prototypes and kind of like keeping it all a bit more compact. Once kind of this device come out, I knew the pattern was right and I knew the configuration was going to work, and there was kind of more configurations with this device than this one. I was kind of, that's the pattern I want, but it needs to be bigger. Every time I was coming up with a new kind of configuration, a new pattern of bollards, a new length, I was taking it out to the job. It's the only way it's going to work or not. Sometimes I'd be in here, get home from work and spend another 4 hours in the workshop cutting it all off, re-welding it, painting it, letting it dry for the next day, and getting out there and giving it another go and see if we can fine-tune it and get it to the point it works really well. One of the cool features that I also wanted to build into the device was being able to have very minimal friction. You can apply just kind of like a quarter wrap, and that would work just for a real basic, very lightweight piece, and just have sort of real minimal friction. Most of the other devices you are stuck with pretty much a full one wrap, and then you can really build on that once you've got the basics of, that quarter wrap. You can start to add to kind of like nearly a one wrap. Once you start to see kind of like the friction contact is what I look at, is how much friction is this individual piece of rope taking. We've got some set patterns which kind of work really well, and you can kind of see it visually as well, exactly what you've got, which is what I really like about it. So our most friction we can apply and use all the bollards and use as much contact there as you can, and that would be friction pattern 4 as we know it. The more time you spend with the device and the more time you kind of use it, then you can figure out exactly how much friction it's giving you. You can figure out what configuration you want to use. I found it quite quick to learn, even with new people that haven't rigged that much. They can kind of learn from scratch pretty quickly. One of the key features was the fact you can run a rope down each side and run dual ropes. So if you're span rigging a piece and you want to balance or even cradle a section down, you've got the ability to run a rope either side and have obviously 2 men controlling them, and be able to bring this piece down nice and level. From this device to that, there was a really big bonus about actually this configuration is going to work really well. You can really do other things that other devices can't. It's something that's hopefully going to be really useful. When I started to think I need to get this to market and find someone who could produce it for me, test it for me, I was working with Treekit in the UK, Mike Story down there, who was developing a lot of products, and Mike saw this, he was really keen on it, really helped me develop it, someone who sort of really pushed me to kind of like, I will pursue this, I will make another prototype. And then the acquisition for Treekit and Notch VSG, so and it just kind of then just developed into that natural progression of this could be a Notch product now. They've really developed some really high quality products. The quality of this has turned out, the welding, the fabrication process on this device, it's far better than I could ever build myself. But I think it's a good partnership, and an amazing feeling to be able to actually take something from a bit of scrap metal I've just welded up in the workshop. People are going to be rigging bits down all over the place. It's cool.